Jai Sri Krishna, Daddy.
Jai Sri Krishna.
Welcome to Geeta Girl.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you record this podcast with me, and so we can get your words of wisdom. I always tell my students that you're one of my gurus, my teachers. So thank you for doing this with me.
Sharmila, nice to have you on the system. Well, I'm like you. I'm a student of Gita. I'm not a scholar. My knowledge is very limited. And because Gita is like an ocean, very few people know it. And even when they know it, to really understand, appreciate its depth, it's not for everybody. Gita has to be learned without pride, without any self motto, and only then the Gyan or the knowledge of Gita dawns on you. And when you are blessed, I tell you, there's nothing impossible for you.
When my kids and husband heard that I was doing this podcast with you, they got so excited. And so the four of us got together over a family dinner and figured out a list of questions that we want to ask you. So the first question is, when talking about karma, this comes up a lot. If the system of karma works, and if it's true that as we sow, so shall we reap, why do so many people in the world seem to get away with just doing bad stuff and they still seem to be having a gala time of it?
Well, I've been lucky to learn Gita from my guru. He was the initiator. And he used to say that the karmas, it's reaction and karma is action. And its reaction is very difficult to understand. Sometimes it takes ages. I will give you a little example what he used to give us. He said when Bhisham Pitama was lying on the bed of arrows, he asked Krishna.
This is from the Mahabharata, right? This is a story from the
Yeah,
Mahabharata.
yes. And he asked Krishna. He said, I've always given up my life, for the good. I sacrificed myself, my right to the throne, to please my father. I'd done everything for the family. Now, why this has happened to me?
He's asking, why am I dying such a terrible death, right?
Yes, in other words, I'm lying on arrows, and why I'm suffering so much when my life has always been giving. He said, Bhisham, go back. You are a wise man, and you have got such a power, you can go back up your many janmas. He went back up to his 9 janmas. He said, I can't go back more. The Krishna said, I allow you to see your 10th janma. What he sees that he's even at that time a prince, a child, but a very powerful one. And there's a snake, which is just hissing because the children are throwing stones at him. And being Bhisham, unafraid of anything, he just caught the snake by the neck and he carelessly threw him. And that snake got entangled in the thorns and he was suffering and he died. He said, see, this was your karma 10 janma ago. He said, but how come it has come now after my so many years? He said, because all your sins, they were dormant. They have woken up now because you did the hideous crime of seeing Drupadi being unroped. And you had the power. You had the strength to stop it. You didn't stop it. So all your past bad karmas, they are woken up now. Oh, he said, I see. So karma is such a thing that its effect, nobody knows how, when it strikes you. But again, there are some karmas which will give you a result immediately. It's like if you are given a fruit and there you have got these red mirchis, and if you start eating them, immediately you get the effect. It's all karmas, how they are working. Like I gave you the example of Bisham, after 10 lifetimes, how they are coming to square up. You never know. And there's no perfect answer. So your question is why people get away. Swamiji told me, his name was Swami Hariyar. He lived to be 100 years plus, and he passed away in year 2000. He
Yeah.
was 101. He said, you have got a bank account. You spend money like anything. You start throwing checks. Nobody asks you a question. Bank manager doesn't come and ask you why you are doing that. As soon as you go 1 shilling, 1 penny over your account, your check is refused, dishonored. So karma is like that. You have got a bank account according to your past karmas. And you can get away with many things. But when your good karmas are finished, then obviously you have to square up, you have to pay. So some people get away with bad karmas, not God is unjust or nature is favoring them, because this is how the karma works. It's like a bank account. Some people have plus a bank account, some people have got minus bank account. That's why they are born in poor houses, in places in Africa where they're suffering from the start of their birth. The others are born, in princely homes and what you call with a golden spoon, and this is the start they get. So understand, the God is not unfair.
Okay, so you answered the first question. Why do people seem to get away with bad actions? And I understood that in terms of
Yeah.
the system is like a bank account. You either have a positive credit or you have a negative debt. And either way, you have to face the consequences, whether you're in the positive era of enjoying your positive karmas or once that's run out, reaping the rewards of your negative karmas. I get that. But then you went on to say that this is why people are born either in princely conditions or in very difficult conditions in famine struck third world nations, or even in first world countries. There are people who are born in such difficulties. So the next question is, how I think you answered this question with your story about Bhisham, but how do the actions of our past lives affect us today?
See, our past karmas result in your birth, where you are born. First of all, chapter 18, verse 12 says, the threefold fruit of action, good, bad, and mixed, is reaped after death. In other words, whatever karmas you do in the past janma, they result in your present birth, which, first of all, what sort of body you get, what sort of faculties you have, which is the country you are born, whether, and then which family you are born in, prosperous or miserable family, or with a body and mind which is deceased, diseased, body or mind which is diseased. It's all the result of your past karma. So when people say, oh, God is unfair, one is born as a prince, for example, Prince Charles, the other one born as a beggar in some country, what choice he has got? No, it is the Prakriti, the nature, which is working your karmas out. There's nothing which is not done by the karma or by the reaction of karma. Everything is karma. All this world is based on karma. We have got, I think, an inborn computer in ourselves. And Krishna says that the bad souls who have done disservice, I throw them in bad wombs and where they are born and take a birth and in a demonic nature and suffer whole their lives. So you can't get away from the karma. The people say, "Oh, try to be indifferent. We don't care." No, but according to our philosophy, Hindu philosophy, if we don't learn everything this janma, we have got second chances in next janma. So that gives a bit of home. That's why there are more reason that whatever you can't do in this janma, you can do it next one. You carry whatever you have done in janma, bad or good. All the sanskaras come with you, and accordingly, you take the birth in that state, in that physical form, in that family. Nothing is wasted.
So the question was, how do the actions of our past lives affect us today? So by these verses in the Bhagavad Gita, you said chapter 18, verse 12, and also the one you had mentioned about hurling. Lord Krishna says, when people create such bad karma and are cruel and vicious, he says, I hurl them in demoniacal wombs, meaning obviously wombs of where they don't have um, access, where they will be born into very terrible situations. That's chapter 16, verse 19. So you're saying that the actions of our past lives affect us by deciding the circumstances of our birth. I mean, not you're saying, the Gita saying that.
Gita saying it. It's knowledge of Gita. I'm only I'm only a medium. I'm saying whatever I've learned under my Guru Swami Hari Harji Maharaj, and because he was the one whom I met in 1976, and he only said one thing: read Gita, and you will find the truth in it. And he said, and once you read that, then the life changes for you. So I think whatever I've achieved little in life, it is all due to Gita and the philosophy Gita. I wish I knew all this 50 years ago or 60 years ago. But anyhow, as you say, it's never too late.
But, when I teach this, and I myself struggle with this, a lot of my students say to me, but then Hinduism sort of promotes this sort of karmic thinking that, it's your karma. It promotes a sort of callousness that it sort of gives people of privilege a way to look at the people who are suffering and say, oh, it's their karma and they have to go through this. So that's that. And then they can sort of wipe their conscience clean and walk away. It sort of leads to a very callous way of thinking. And what do you think about that statement, which people say all the time?
I think they are deluding themselves because
Who is deluding themselves?
those people who say that, because we are here saying karma is everything. Without karma, you can't do anything. Even the body you get, the family you are born in, it all depends on the karma. And the learned ones will not only be careful this janm, but they will understand that soul doesn't die. Soul is immortal. It takes janm again according to your actions. And they will be the one, when they understand this, they will be extra careful. They will know that we can't get away. Some people say, oh, we get away in this life. Who knows next life? Who cares about next life? But our Hindu philosophy tells us that the soul never dies. As we change our clothes and wear new clothes after they are worn out, in the same way, the soul leaves old bodies and gets into new bodies according to their karma. So, karma is very important. You can't get away from it. Even if you think you can get away in this Janma, it is going to catch up with you today, tomorrow, or next Janma. On the contrary, this is the greatest deterrent that one should have to do good karmas because the result will never be lost. It will continue until, of course, you achieve perfection, oneness with God.
First of all, the verse you referred to is chapter 2, verse 22. Just as a human takes off worn out garments and puts on new ones, so the soul casts off worn out bodies and enters new ones. So what you're thinking, Dad, is that this karmic account and the fact that the soul continues from body to body is not a way to be callous and a way to walk away from people who are suffering and be callous of their suffering, but you view it more as a warning sign that, unless, there but for the grace of God go I, that could be me sooner or later. So let me mind my actions now and create good karma, good actions in order to create a better destiny for myself. I consider myself very fortunate in life to have been born to you, Dad, with you as my dad, and having an education and the means to have an education and comfort. So, what is my duty towards those who are suffering? What does the Gita say about that?
Gita says in chapter 3, I think it's Shloka 12 or 13.
I'm looking at it when you're talking to me. It's chapter 3, verse 12. Yeah, shloka means verse, yes.
Krishna says, Istan Bhogani hi wo deva, dasyante yag bhavita, sai dartan prada bhayo, yo bhogante sen evase. In other words, the nature gives you everything. What the sun does, the fire burns itself. It sucks the water from the seas. It goes up in the clouds. Clouds don't keep the moisture themselves. They give it back in the as a part of rain. Rain falls on the earth. Earth doesn't keep the rain. It produces the fruit which everybody eats and everybody nourishes. So whole universe is governed by the sacrifice. Whole universe is pervaded and controlled by sacrifice.
Sacrifice and giving.
Yeah, yeah, you give, do whatever you want, you need, but you have always to give part of your wealth, riches, part of your abundant ambience. If you don't do that, Krishna calls you a thief. You are stealing from nature. Wealth, prosperity, goodness is to be given away. If God has given you enough, contribute, distribute, make others happy. Because nature is governed by these laws, laws of giving, laws of doing good. Nature has produced you to look after yourself first, and then to look after your family, and then the what we call samaj or your neighborhood, nation, and whatever you call it.
Community, yeah.
Yeah, this is how the nature works. Whatever duty is given to you, you are supposed to do it. You can't neglect. You can't get away from it. So, negligence of karma is as bad as not doing karma.
Excellent. So that this verse is outstanding. I love it. That the gods, meaning all the gods, like the god of water, sun, air, fire, all of nature bestows on you unasked. We're not asking for all of this, but it still gives us all the desired enjoyments. And the person who enjoys the gifts bestowed by nature without giving them in return is a thief, meaning that we are morally obligated as creatures of this planet and enjoying the benefits given to us. We are morally obligated to give back. Is that correct?
Very correct.
And that is in giving back in the form of service and helping people. What I'm hearing from you is that the law of karma, instead of people using it to be callous and walking away from other people's suffering, it's more like understanding other people's suffering as a cautionary tale of what is in store for us unless we fulfill our dharma, our duty, our responsibility, and create and do what is asked of us as people in positions of the ability to help others.
Ex- exactly. God is going even further. He's not about talking about human beings only. He's talking about devas. That means all five elements, including earth, water, air, skies, fire. That we have to look after these elements. Only then these elements, the gods, because in our Hindu dharma, we consider all five elements as gods. People used to laugh at us as pagans that we are praying to them. Now they are realizing that if the nature goes against you, if the earth, air, or anything goes against you, like this COVID 19, it can play havoc. So you have to look after also the nature, so nature looks after you.
Mm.
So if you read Gita, you will find reference to everything. And Mahatma Gandhi once said that with all the troubles I've gone through from fighting against the biggest rulers in the earth, the British, and in South Africa, now whenever I have opened Mother Gita, it has never failed me. It has always given me the answer. So Gita knowledge is ultimate knowledge. And somehow we have gone after the science, we have gone after all this physical well-being, all these things, and we have left with the most uh, precious gyan or knowledge on the sideway. That's why we are suffering this.
One of the questions on my list, actually, that Mohit came up with, he said, "Oh, ask Nana, whose bad karma is it that COVID-19 happened and so many people are dying and so many more people are suffering terribly and with different consequences of, economic, mental stress, the whole thing, physical, the whole thing. Like, how can we explain that karmically?"
The COVID 19 happened not only because of China, we have been misusing the nature. We have been polluting the earth. We have been polluting waters, throwing sewage. We have been polluting air. Human being has misused all the nature. And it was going on and on. China is a trigger. They could have informed the world. Its effect could have been lessened or possibly controlled in some way. But whole humanity is responsible. It have been decimating the nature from a long, long time, and China somehow helped, to bring about this disaster quicker as an eye opener. What's going to happen in future? So possibly you can take it as a blessing in disguise that now we know that we have to be very careful with the nature and look after the nature. As in our dharma says, all these big elements, all these are mahabhutas. That means they are uncontrollable if they are not looked after. So all rivers, seas, and all everything in the olden times we used to pray to them because we knew that without them we can't live. And Krishna understood and gave it in Gita 5,000 years ago for the benefit of us human beings. So we are all trying. We are not there, but at least we are progressing. And touch wood, according to religion, we have got many lives to. We are not. Yeah. He said, don't be despair. Don't be despair that you haven't achieved it. Nothing is lost. You carry it. Accordingly, you take birth. And I think it makes sense. And slowly, with practice, you will find that you are doing the right thing.
Excellent. Thank you, Dad. This was
Yes.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Jai Sri Krishna, Jai.
Jai Sri Krishna, thanks for being with us today. Love you, Dad. Jai Sri
Love
Krishna.
you so much. Take care and give love to family and everybody.